بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Welcome back, my dear brothers and sisters, inshallah, to Masjid Al-Wali's daily gems during the month of Ramadan. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank Brother Nazumo for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to speak to y'all, to just give a few reminders about during the month of Ramadan that we can benefit from, practical reminders that we can benefit from. And I understand that, and I saw from Brothers Nazumo's talk that he spoke a little bit about, what it means to be in Ramadan, what it means, to have that taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm sure each and every single one of us, this is the second day or third day, right? The second day, some of us aren't used to the changes that are happening, changes to our bodies physically, emotionally, mentally. And then tomorrow is Monday, so we all have work, we all have to go back to our daily schedules, and it's going to be even harder, because you're exerting yourself a little bit more harder. So today I wanted to talk about embracing the seasonality of Ramadan. And I want to talk about embracing the changes that happens as a result of it. Every day and night, we have to charge these cell phones, right? Every single day we have to charge them, and once the battery goes down and down, we have to charge them, right? So that it becomes nourished or becomes charged. And then we have to do it at night so that we can use that cell phone again the next morning. This is the same thing with how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orchestrates our physical and spiritual beings. Our physical beings needs food and water to thrive and to be nourished. Uh, Similarly, our souls also need that spiritual aspect and need that spiritual gain. And it's done through what? Well, there's three things. There's one, which is the prayer, which is done 3 times a day, and it's needed for us to gain that spiritual reminder and to disconnect ourselves from the dunya and to connect ourselves into the akhirah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that we were only able to handle that 5 times a day. And He knows that we need to disconnect from the physical, from the dunya, and connect to the akhirah to remember what it means to be Muslims, right? And likewise, fasting, or we can go to Hajj first. Hajj is required on a spiritual being, once in a lifetime for us to take that pilgrimage to Mecca in order to regain what it means to be, again, worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that we need that. Now, similarly, is fasting. Fasting happens once a year, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands and knows that He created us and knows that we need that once a year. So we have to use this month and maximize on the opportunities. And this change doesn't come instantly, but subhanallah, just 2 days ago we were able to drink and we were able to eat, but now we're not. Right now, like literally within a blink of 2 days, khalas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us you can no longer drink, you can no longer eat, and you have to abstain from relations with your wife and your spouse. And that's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose for us to do. Now, say for instance, when we talk about change, anytime somebody comes up to us in regards to change, they're always going to tell you, well, who are you to tell me, what I have to change about myself? Whenever we get, criticism, and the best people to go to in regards to that is your parents. Your parents, if you go to them, hey, mama, baba, what can I do to become a better person? What can I do to, and to improve? And trust me, they'll come down with a whole list of things that you can do to improve yourself, right? But say, and that's your parents, right? And that's acceptable. But if somebody random is telling you, hey, you need to change your habits, you need to change your goals, you need to change your life, you're not going to take that very well, right? But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does it, He knows that you need to do that. It's obligatory for you to do that. Your soul needs it. You need it. We all need it. We all need to, go back, come back into this month and rectify ourselves and have that tazkiyah to nafs that we desperately need. Because 12 months throughout the entire year, or 11 months throughout the year, we're so focused in the dunya and what it has to offer. We're so focused on work. We're focused on family. And our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes deters. Sometimes after, we're at a high during Ramadan and the end of Ramadan, and then afterwards, we kind of, it's a slippery slope sometimes for some of us. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that we need this change for a reason. We need this change for a reason. And change doesn't happen overnight. But he's telling us that we need to we need this Ramadan, we need this fasting to abstain from the halal. We're not just abstaining now from the haram things. We're not abstaining from halal things that we were able to do. And so, you know, uh, we need to understand and be mindful of the things that trigger us sometimes, because with change comes struggle, with change comes discomfort, right? And you can only change if you go through those notions of struggle, of pain, of hunger, of thirst. And so, those are the notions that are supposed to happen in order for us to gain that self-discipline that is used to defeat those desires, our inner whims and desires. And so my goal, inshallah, for the next 10 minutes is to tell you about some practical goals or practical things that we can do to have a successful Ramadan. Number one is renewing your intention every day. We know that that the Prophet Muhammad says that إنما الأعمال بالنيات, that our actions are by their intentions. So each and every single day, we need to wake up with the intention that, hey, we are fasting for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are fasting because we, understand. You have a conversation with yourself. Why are you fasting? Yes, you're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but what other goals are you, doing for yourself? Well, I'm fasting in order to become a better person. I'm fasting this month to make a change with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm fasting this month so I can make drastical changes within my life, right? Maybe some people, they use fasting as an excuse to lose weight. Some of us, we gain weight during the month of Ramadan. After Ramadan, we're like, what happened, right? We expected to lose all this weight, and all of a sudden we're putting on weight at the end of Ramadan. So it's important to, number one, renew your intention. Number two, set goals for yourself. What are some of the goals that you can attain? They need to be practical but attainable. Some of us during Ramadans in the past, we may have put like grandiose goals for ourselves. We must have put like, read the entire Quran 3 or 4 times, right? And then when you fail at doing that, then that's when your ego will be like, well, I'm already destined for failure. So why should I even try? And that could be even done on a single daily basis. Like you set the tone of, hey, I'm not gonna curse during the month of Ramadan. And then, today's day two, and you had some difficulty with that, right? Or I'm gonna abstain myself from looking at haram things. And maybe you did that, right? And then again, you're setting yourself up for failure, and you keep, hasabing nafsak, you keep saying, well, what's the point of creating these goals if I'm going to, fail at them? But that's the process. That's the process of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually, even it said, research says that it takes about 21 to 30 days to create new habits, to create changes. So subhanAllah, even at a scientific level, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that we need this entire month in order to create those good habits. You're gonna falter, you're going to fail. It's okay. Don't, be so harsh on yourself. Right? As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also says in the hadith, أحب الأعمال إلى الله أدومها وإن قل, that the most beloved acts, the most beloved deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those that are consistent, right? Even if they're small, right? Consistent but small. That way you're creating goals for yourself that are attainable, that are achievable. What are some goals that you can, put for yourself? What's my goal for Ramadan this month? What are some things that I want to rectify within myself? And remember, this is a time of rectification. This is a time of tazkiyah. This is a time of tazkiyah to nafs. This is a time to really look deeper within yourself and ask yourself, what can I do to become a better Muslim? What are some habits that I need to change? What are some lifestyle habits that I need to change? And so, is it to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Okay, well, if it's to get closer to Allah, of course. The whole point of fasting is to, at the end of the month, to become a people of muttaqun, to become a people of God consciousness. You want to attain God consciousness by the end of Ramadan. And so how do you do that? Do you want to read more Quran? What are some goals about reading Quran? Do you want to read Surah Al-Mulk every single night? Maybe that's an attainable goal that you can have for yourself. Do you want to, listen, do you want to completely stop listening to music every single day of this month? right? And if you don't listen to music for the entire month, maybe, inshallah, at the end of the month, khalas, you won't be listening to music. You're replacing that music with Quran, with nasheeds, with whatever it may be that's more beneficial to you, right? Maybe with talks, because every single day you're being reminded of some kind of talk, and there are many different platforms that you're being reminded about, the beautiful gems of the Quran, and all these, different platforms that provide for you, knowledge. So maybe that's one goal that you can have. Like, every day I want to listen to something that's beneficial. And that's an attainable goal, an achievable goal. So maybe it's to implement more adhkar. Maybe it's to remind yourself of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the bus or when you're driving your car. Maybe it's to listen to more Quran, right? I'm an occupational therapist, so I drive to patients' homes, and when I'm in the car, I either listen to something that's beneficial, whether it's an Islamic lecture, or I listen to Quran or nasheeds, and that could be something that you can do, that you can listen to Quran during this month of Ramadan, because again, it's the month of the Quran. Is it to understand the Quran more? Maybe you take one surah of the Quran. Again, consistent but attainable, right? And so you're developing and creating new habits and you're putting an end to bad habits. Those bad habits that you do every single day, whether it's cursing, whether it's looking at something that you're not really supposed to be looking at. Maybe you have an addiction. Maybe it's for some people struggle with smoking cigarettes. People struggle with shisha. People struggle with foul language. People struggle with all types of different addictions. Maybe this is the month that you create a new change for yourself, a new page with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number three, embrace that change that's coming within yourself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at your efforts. He looks, you will come to Allah, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, in the Hadith Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala walking, He comes to you running, right? You come with a hand's width, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes with an arm's length. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you a slate during this month, a new page to have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like a teacher goes to the worst student, right? And he tells that student, hey, listen, come up here. This is my grade book for the classes that you have today or this semester. I want you to just write down what grades you write down what grades you want. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing for us. The immense amount of reward that you can attain during this month of Ramadan. Maximize those rewards. That's number four. Maximize your rewards during this month of Ramadan. كل عبد ابن آدم له إلا الصوم فإنه لي وأنا أجزي به. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says again in the Hadith Qudsi, He says all the deeds of the son of Adam is for him, like the salat, everything has a compensated reward except for Sawm, except for fasting. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically rewards. فإنه لي وأنا أجزي به. It is for me and I will reward it as such. So it's an open board. It's an open plethora of rewards that you can get. So it's not just about number six is to abstain. Be mindful of the types of consumption that you're taking in. So as much as you're abstaining from drinking and eating, right, you're also abstaining from the things that you're watching maybe on social media. Maybe it's a time to take out your social media and deactivate it for a whole month, right? Maybe you're too addicted to your phone. Maybe take the time to make that a goal for yourself. Limit the number of hours that you spend on social media, because again, social media can be used for good and can be used for bad. Unfollow the pages that promote evil. Number six, be steadfast and don't give up. Yuridu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran in those same verses of fasting, Yuridu Allahu bikum al-yusr wa la yuridu bikum al-usr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants ease for you. He doesn't want hardship for you. He wants you to complete the month of Ramadan being a better person. Number seven, you are your biggest enemy, not the shaitan. Some people can blame the shaitan. Well, the shaitan made me do this, and I have a strong shaitan, and that's why I'm coming back to the addiction. No, the shaitan now are associated to the shayateen. They are no longer an influence. It's just you against yourself. You are your worst enemy. So you have no excuses, right? Within this month, you're able to actually look into yourself and be like, you know what? This is something that I need to work on. I can't believe I act this way. Let me change that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in tansurullaha yansurkum wa yuthabbit aqdamakum. O you who believe, if you support Allah, if you strive towards Allah, He will support you and He will make you firm and He will plant you firmly, right? If you strive towards Allah, He will strive towards you. And this could be the year that you change. This could be the year that allows you to become more successful. This is the year that become the best version of ourselves. Ramadan is that time of self-reflection. So during this time, remember not to rush. It's not a race, right? You'll find deeper and more, quality relationship with yourself and Allah when you take the time to take care of yourself. So inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and support us and allow us to, continue during this month of Ramadan and strive forward and never give up, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.